All right, let's talk about one of the most iconic, most controversial, and honestly most quoted films ever made, the 1983 crime epic Scarface. This is the ultimate story of ambition, of violence, and the insane price of power. You've seen this quote everywhere, right? The world is yours. It's etched onto a statue in the film, and it becomes this incredibly alluring but also deeply tragic promise that's at the very heart of the story. It's the ultimate prize for our antihero, but as we're about to see, it comes with a terrifying cost. So, picture this 1980s Miami. We're talking a city just swimming in cocaine and lit up by neon signs. And right in the middle of all that chaos, Scarface gives us this absolutely brutal, totally unapologetic version of the American dream. Forget hard work and playing by the rules. This dream is chased with bullets and a whole lot of betrayal. Okay, a monument of crime drama. Directed by Brian De Palma, written by Oliver Stone, so let's get into it. You got the masterful Brian De Palma in the director's chair and a script from Oliver Stone, who, and this is pretty wild, was actually battling his own cocaine addiction while writing it. The results? This insane, hyper-violent, drug-fueled epic that just completely rewrote the rules for the gangster genre. And here he is, the man at the center of it all, Tony Montana, played with this just volcanic intensity by Al Pacino. And this quote, it's not just some cool line. No, this is his entire philosophy. It's the simple, brutal code that he lives by, and it drives every single thing he does from start to finish. The rise to power. From Cuban refugee to Miami kingpin. So, the big question is, how does he actually pull it off? Well, Tony's story kicks off in May of 1980. He lands in Florida as a refugee during the Mario boat lift. He literally has nothing, except this burning ambition and this rock-solid belief that he's meant for something way bigger than washing dishes. And man, does he move fast. His efficiency is just ruthless. I mean, look at this. He climbs the criminal ladder with terrifying speed. He survives that infamous chainsaw scene, you know the one. Then he completely bypasses his own boss to make a deal directly with a cartel in Bolivia. And then he comes right back to Miami and takes the whole empire by force. It's just bam, bam, bam. Now, of course, he's not doing this all on his own. You've got the key players in his world. There's Manny, his best friend and ride-or-die partner in crime. You have Elvira, the boss's wife, who Tony sees as like the ultimate prize. Then there's his younger sister, Gina, who he's, well, obsessively protective of. And finally, Alejandro Sosa, the big-time Bolivian kingpin who is going to play a huge part in sealing Tony's fate. Okay, so this is absolutely crucial. When Tony is in Bolivia making that renegade deal, the kingpin, Sosa, gives him one very, very simple rule. The number one rule. Don't ever try to fuck me. And that one warning, it becomes this ticking time bomb that just hangs over the entire rest of the movie. You're just waiting for it to go off. The price of the world. At the top, the only way is down. So fast forward to 1983, and Tony has everything he ever wanted. He's got the money, the power, the woman. He is the king of Miami. But, you know, when you've built your kingdom on a mountain of cocaine and paranoia, there's really only one way to go from the top, right? And that's straight down. So, what went wrong? I mean, seriously, this is the big question. He did it. He got his twisted version of the American dream. He literally had the world in his hands. So why did it all just start to crumble from the inside out? Well, it wasn't just one thing. His whole life was unraveling from all sides at once. He gets completely hooked on his own product. Then comes the extreme, isolating paranoia that pushes absolutely everyone away. He alienates his wife, Elvira. He has this suffocating, obsessive control over his sister, Gina. And as if that's not enough, the feds are breathing down his neck for tax evasion. It's a total mess. And all of this just explodes in that legendary restaurant scene. You know the one. Tony, completely fueled by drugs and paranoia, just loses it. He publicly humiliates Elvira, starts screaming at everyone in the restaurant, daring them to judge him. And that's it. That's the moment she walks out for good and his isolation becomes almost complete. The inevitable, bloody fall, betrayal, revenge, and a blaze of glory. Yeah, from that point on, the whole thing just goes into a complete nosedive. This isn't a slow burn at all. It's a rapid, violent, catastrophic explosion of betrayal, revenge, and of course, one final, completely insane blaze of glory. It's like three massive dominoes falling one right after the other. First, the botched hit. He refuses to kill a journalist because his family is there, and in doing so, he breaks Sosa's one and only rule, which enrages him. Second, the ultimate betrayal. In a jealous rage, he kills his best friend Manny, only to find out, seconds later, that Manny had just secretly married his sister. And finally, the final siege. Sosa's army shows up at his mansion to settle the score. So there he is, devastated by grief, consumed by guilt, and sitting in front of a literal mountain of cocaine. This is it. This is his legendary final stand. He grabs that M16 with the grenade launcher attached, and as the assassins pour into his mansion, he unleashes absolute hell with probably the most famous line in movie history. But, even Tony Montana isn't invincible. An assassin gets him from behind, and that's it. His body tumbles into the fountain, floating lifelessly right under that statue, the one with the words that defined his whole life. The irony is just staggering. He got the world, and then he lost absolutely everything. The legacy of Tony Montana. From critical failure to cultural icon. Okay, but the story doesn't really end there, does it? Let's pivot a bit here and talk about the why. Why did this film, which was a total flop with critics at first, become this massive cultural icon over the last 40+ years? Well, a huge part of that early backlash was just the sheer excess of it all. I mean, get this. The F word is used over 200 times. 200. The violence was so over the top that some countries just outright banned the film. To put it mildly, the critics, they hated it. And just look at this incredible turnaround. The movie goes from harsh reviews and a Razzie nomination for Worst Director to being hailed as a cult classic, from being banned to being listed on the AFI's top 10 gangster films of all time. I mean, that's not just a comeback, that's a complete vindication by history. The audience knew what was up all along. So where does all this love come from? Well, its impact is pretty widespread, but look at that huge slice of the pie, hip-hop. For so many artists, from Jay-Z to Nas, Tony Montana became the ultimate icon of the hustle. Think about it. He's not just a gangster. He's the ultimate outsider, an immigrant who sees the American dream by force. That story, of defying a system that's built to keep you down, that's the core of his appeal. Which brings us back to the big, lingering question, right? Was Tony Montana just a monster, a straight-up bad guy, or was he something way more complicated, a tragic symbol of the American dream, but one that was pursued to its absolute deadliest extreme? Someone who wanted his piece of the world so badly that he was willing to burn it all down to get it, and ended up burning himself in the process. I think it's that question that keeps us watching, 4 decades later.